Hi, I'm Samantha Johnston. I'm an artist based currently in London, and I joined the Futures, I think end of 2019, but literally before lockdown happened. And for me, Belfast Exposed has always been a vital place. I've always seen it as a place for new artists as well as established artists. And even when I moved across to London, I always stayed up to date with Belfast Exposed and what they were doing. And it was when I was studying my master's that I seen the call out in Source magazine. And as soon as I seen it for the Futures programme, I knew I had to apply. I've never applied for anything because I've always had that insecurity. And I feel even when you move to, say, a bigger city, you feel like you can't apply to things or you feel you won't get it. But because this was kind of based in my hometown, I was like, okay, I need to do this. Yeah, and then I think it was a few months later when I got the email and then I had to do the interview. And it was the best feeling ever to know that I'd gotten in. And I think for me, being a part of the Futures, it gave me, I've always been working on my practice, but it gave me a reason to kind of develop it for an audience. So I've always been doing it for myself, but it makes you think in a different way of like, how do I present it to people? How do I present what I've been doing in a studio? And it's challenged me in good ways. I mean, I've never been strong at explaining the work. Yeah, they ask me questions that I've always been kind of never wanted to answer. I always thought, right, I'll just keep working, it's fine. No one wants to know about the work, but they challenge you and you really have to not learn how to verbalize it, but just to be able to say key words that people can understand your practice, and that really helped focus. And it's given me the confidence as well, because I think Futures makes you realize it's like a journey, and it's not, there's not a definite end result. It's not a race, so you're working towards something. And for me, I was able to kind of, what I've done the past 5 years, and be able to kind of present it in a show. And this will be my first kind of solo show, so to have it in my hometown is just, it's an incredible feeling. So the project that I worked with Futures, I based it on objects, and the focus is strongly on objects. So for example, there's coffee cups, there's lamps, or there's little segments of rooms. And it's a way to kind of trigger memories or nostalgia with people. So there's not necessarily a reason to why it's there. It's meant to kind of trigger a feeling in the audience. For example, one of my favorite pieces is of the coffee cups. And for example, for me, I love coffee. It's that routine of getting up in the morning. The first thing you need is that caffeine fix. And it's kind of building a relationship with that. And it sounds weird, but for example, there's times where I'd be watching a film and I'm paying attention to the lights, the interiors, the kind of textile of something. And again, that's something that I brought into the work. So the fabrics, the color. And again, the reason why I used film is film really kind of brings out the saturation. It's that, again, the physicality of working with the objects and the kind of philosophy behind the objects, because in a way, I love the mechanical feel of things as well. So going forward, I think after this, it's always the question that people ask is what's next? And for me, I think it's hard because I never know how to answer it because I'm always living it. So I'm always kind of living my art and living my practice. But I think after the Futures, I've come from painting and I fell in love with the darkroom. And now it's made me question, well, could I move fully into digital photography? And truthfully, I think the answer would be no. So that's kind of, in a way, made me think of the future and how to take my practice. Yeah, I think moving into, I suppose, cinema, where kind of my ideas come from.